Welcome to NextBrick. Now, the majority of the videos on my channel are going to cover my favorite building brick, Lego. However, there are a few franchises that Lego failed to secure the rights to, and I still would like to cover those sets. Therefore, in this display series, you will see a few examples of said franchises. In this example, it's going to be the Star Trek brick display options. We're going to start by going into the Mega Block sets that are out there in regards to Star Trek. The first one was released in 2004 and was the USS Enterprise NCC1701D. It consisted of 945 pieces, came with a single figure which was Captain Picard. In regards to display options, it also comes with a stand, which makes it one of the few ships that was released for Star Trek that actually came with a way to properly display it. Now in regards to lighting options, sadly they're very limited here. The two obvious locations are going to be right there in those red transparent pieces behind the saucer section, or in the nacelles. Sadly, the pieces in the saucer section are on quite a narrow piece of the saucer section, making running wires there quite difficult. In regards to the nacelles, there is no room inside of the current nacelles to actually put any lighting options, making it incredibly difficult to do so. Due to this, sadly, I have not found a way to properly light this particular set and just leave it as you see displayed here. Now, if you wanted to pick up one of these 18-year-old sets for yourself, your best bet's going to be eBay, and the cost at the beginning of 2022 is $200 to $250 for one of these brand new, and used, you're looking to spend about $50 to $125. After that initial Starship Enterprise in 2004, we needed to wait 12 years before Mega Bloks was allowed to produce more sets under the Star Trek license. The first is the Guardian of Forever set, 111 pieces, including the figures of Kirk, McCoy, and 2 red shirts. Now in regards to display options, the options here are rather limited, but I will be showing you shortly how to create a full bridge and transport room, and this serves as a great place to transport your figures down to. Therefore, I usually kind of leave it to the side of the bridge and transporter room in resemblance of that. Additionally, McCoy is not seen in any of the other sets released by Mega Bloks. Therefore, I end up using the McCoy figure on my bridge. Now in regards to lighting options, you can use lights to light all the transparent sections that you see in this set, but sadly there is nowhere to actually hide all of the wires that power these lights. Therefore, this is not really a good option in regards to lighting for a set. Beginning of 2022, the cost for this set on eBay is rather inexpensive at only $35. Now the next set in this series is the Day of the Dove set, which is 97 pieces and includes 4 figures of Scotty, Chekhov, Kang, and a fellow Klingon. Now this is the only set that you can get Scotty and Chekhov in, so if you want the complete set of the original cast, you're definitely going to need to get this set. Now in regards to display options, there's not much to it, but we can use it later on as a part of our transporter room in our full bridge and transporter room mock-up. Now in regards to lighting options, there really isn't any lighting options here, so I'm going to say none. And the overall cost is inexpensive, just like the Guardian of Forever set at around $35. The next set is one of the better ones in this series. It is the transporter room set at 321 pieces. It includes the figures of Kirk, Spock, and Scotty from the alternate universe. Now in regards to display options, I use this as a part of the transporter room in my bridge and transporter room mock-up that you'll be seeing here on the next set. In regards to lighting options, you could put some lights behind these panels that you see here behind the transporter to kind of give it a light-up effect as they are transporting. I've chosen not to do so here, but that is one of the limited options you have available. Additionally, I want to point out that with this set, you can change those back panels so that they'll resemble the transporter room in our universe or the alternate universe. Now, the cost of this currently on eBay is around $50 to $60. Now this next set that we have here is my second favorite that has ever been released, and it is the USS Enterprise Bridge. It's 594 pieces, and it includes the figures of Kirk, Spock, Uhura, and Sulu. Now in regards to display options, it of course looks just fine like this, but I find that if you get 2 of these sets, it makes a much more complete bridge like you're seeing here in my mock-up, where you're allowed to actually have a full set of seats all the way around with the display screen at the front of the bridge. Also, as you're seeing here, you can quite easily connect this to the transporter room, and with the addition of just a few 2x4 bricks that I happen to use here that are gray ones that are Tycho from my childhood, you can complete the look of both the bridge and the entrance to the transporter room, while still utilizing that Day of the Dove set that we spoke of earlier. Now sadly there aren't any really good lighting kit options for this set that we've created here, and the cost is rather expensive. Currently at the beginning of 2022 on eBay it's going to cost you $250 to $300 for each one of these bridge sets, so if you want two it's going to cost you over $500. You may better serve by looking in the used market to save a few $100s. So this means if you're looking to purchase the two bridges that you see here, as well as the three other sets that make up all of this scene, you're looking at about $750 for the brand new sets. Now these 4 playsets are not all that was released by Mega Bloks in 2016. In addition, they released 2 very nice ships. The first one being the Klingon D7 Battle Cruiser. It has 351 pieces in it and comes with a Commander Core figure. Now in regards to displaying the D7 Battle Cruiser, it's quite easy as this set automatically comes with a very nice stand that puts it in display position. I normally like to put the Klingons that we got from the Day of the Dove set that I spoke of earlier on the left and right, since we clearly aren't using them in that set or on the bridge in this display configuration. Additionally, in regards to lighting options, we have some good ones with this one. All 4 of the green points that you see on the top you could theoretically light with 1x1 radials. And then in regards to the 2 lasers that you see, the green lasers coming out from each side, you could also light those up for an impressive display. Now note, this is a fairly small build, therefore you very well may see some of those wires, but it should look very nice with all of those areas lit. Now this set was not offered for long, so they went pretty quickly, and therefore the cost of the set, even though it was only about $30 brand new, you now look to spend about $150 to $200 for this on eBay in its new condition, and about half that in its used condition. Now the final ship in this series is by far my favorite in all of the Star Trek brick sets, and that is the USS Enterprise NCC1701. At 3,098 pieces, it's by far the biggest set, in fact bigger than all the other ones put together. Now the figures included here are Kirk and Spock in dress uniforms. Now they were nice enough once again to include a great display stand that not only displays the ship, but both Kirk and Spock, and a nice gold plaque as well. Now in regards to lighting options, both the nacelles were originally lit, but you actually had to push on them in order to get them to light up. I've employed here some different lights that light both the nacelles and then just the top and bottom of the saucer section for what I think is a fairly nice effect to lighting this build. Now this is definitely the most expensive of all of the Star Trek sets at $350 to $400 currently new on eBay, or $200 to $250 used if you can find them, because they are fairly difficult to find used. However, I would say this is definitely the most worthwhile expense that you're going to spend in any of the Star Trek sets, and the most rewarding build there is here. Now before moving on to Kre-O, who is the other manufacturer who made sets for the Star Trek franchise, I wanted to show some of the additional figures that you could have gotten that were in additional packs not included in these sets. Now the first example we show here definitely can't be called minifigures. They are the Kubros figures, and there were 3 of them released: Captain Picard, Commander Spock, and Lieutenant Worf. They are roughly 4 inches tall, and though Spock's giving the live long and prosper sign is quite adorable, I really overall am not a huge fan of these 3 sets here. Now the next example here was released underneath the Mega Constructs brand name, and they are a set of 5 minifigures. We once again have Jean-Luc Picard, as well as Commander Data, fighting a Borg, and then additionally we have Kirk and Spock engaged in a fight for the Pon farr. Now all of these minifigures have become increasingly difficult to find, but if you can find them on eBay, normally you're going to end up finding them in the $25 or so range each. That is now going to bring us to the end of all of the Mega Block sets that have been created over the last 20 years. Next, we are going to go into a manufacturer that was handed the license for a very short period of time in 2013 that goes by the name of Kre-O. Now I'm going to start with the smallest of the Creo sets and work our way to the largest, as there are several. As you will see, the main issue with the Creo sets is displayability, so we will address what to do to display each as we go through them. Ironically, the best ones to display in the entire series are the smallest micro builds, the set of 4 that you see here. They consist of the USS Enterprise, which is 39 pieces, the USS Kelvin at 34 pieces, the Jellyfish at 42 pieces, which is Spock's ship, and a Klingon battlecruiser at 39 pieces. Now the nice part is, each of them comes with their own display stand, and that stand lights up from the base, so you can both display them and light them quite easily. Now, the one negative here is the light from the base really doesn't do that much unless it's a very dark room, but it is a nice feature they've added. Now, in regards to acquiring these have become extremely difficult to get, especially the Kelvin and the Jellyfish. If you can find them, they're only for about $25 on eBay. Next, let's start the actual series of sets, the first of which is the 36-piece Space Dive. It includes the figures of Kirk and Khan. Now, with this set, the display options provided for you are extremely limited, as the set only consists of about 20 pieces. The other pieces are the minifigures. Now, in regards to lighting options, you could of course light those two red transparent pieces at the top of this build, but really overall it's going to be difficult to hide those wires, and there's so little to this I see little point in doing such a thing. Sadly, the complaint with this set is the one that I have with many of the Creo sets, and that is that it doesn't really do anything in and of itself. It's just kind of a background for the minifigures themselves, and therefore does not provide much playability or value. Largely because there isn't much to this set and no real value in it is largely why, even though it's been retired for many years, you can still find it readily available on eBay for roughly $10. The next set in the series is Transporter Treble, which comes in at 65 pieces. The figures included here are Scotty and a Klingon with a batleth. Now the display options here are once again very limited, similar to the Space Dive, and the lighting options are actually included, as when you spin that central transparent piece, it will actually flash blue from underneath. Now it's not very bright, and you normally would need to be in a dark room in order to see it, like many of the Creo lights, but lighting for it is indeed included, which is the one redeeming quality of the set. Other than simply sticking them up on a shelf, I'm not really sure what else you could do with both the original Space Dive that we just went over and this Transporter Treble. Fortunately, sets do start getting a little better from here on out. Now, if you wanted to purchase this set, you can acquire it on eBay for as little these days as $20. This brings us to the third set in the series, Spocks' Volcano Mission, which comes in at 141 pieces. It includes the figures of Spock and Sulu. Now sadly, once again, the display options with this set are fairly limited. It can provide some good playability for children when they want to, kind of play with the volcano, so to speak, but otherwise, there really isn't much here. You can kind of put the shuttle on your shelf and that'd be about it. That being said, it is one of the few Creo sets that does not need to have a mount added to it for it to actually display properly, so it does have that benefit. In regards to lighting, it does include a light-up brick on the inside like many of the Creo pieces, and like all the other Creo light-up pieces, you of course need to hold down the button in order to light it up, which is unfortunate. Now if you want to acquire this, you can get them off eBay pretty readily still for about $30. The fourth set in the series is the Klingon Bird of Prey, that has 236 pieces to it and 4 minifigures, which include Captain Kirk, Uhura, and 2 Klingons. Now the display options given to you out of the box for this set are quite limited, as all you can really do is just kind of slap it there on your desk and take up a lot of room with it. You can, however, build a rudimentary stand for it like I've done here, and this allows it to take up much less room on the desk, elevate it a little bit so you can put it in a more familiar pose like you've seen in the movie, and then additionally also get a 360-degree view around it quite easily. Now, the lighting options are once again included with this set, as if you push that button, a red light will come out from behind the cockpit, but just like with all the other Creo sets, it needs to be pretty dark to see it. The total cost of this set currently on eBay is $50 to $60. We now just have 3 sets remaining in the series of Creo sets. The first being the USS Vengeance, which consists of 326 pieces and 4 figures, which are Scotty, a specialist captain, and 2 specialists. Now the display options for this build are quite limiting, as normally it just kind of sits on the surface that it's on. However, in my opinion, that doesn't allow you to see completely around the ship, and additionally, the figures and such underneath it are hidden under the saucer. Therefore, I recommend that if you're displaying multiple ones of these, you actually elevate it like I've done here using transparent bricks. Now I do want to point out, obviously I'm using colorful transparent bricks here to try and give you an idea of which ones I used. Normally, you would use completely clear ones. In regards to lighting options, both of the nacelles entirely light up when you hit a little button on the bottom of this, and it's actually one of the brightest iterations of the light ups in these Creos, so it does look pretty nice. You can normally find this set on eBay for $100 to $150. The next build we're going to talk about is a familiar one, the USS Enterprise, this time consisting of 432 pieces and including the figures of Captain Kirk, Spock, McCoy, and 2 Specialists. Now in regards to display options, it's the exact same ones that were offered to us in the Vengeance, and that is just kind of sitting flat on a table, which is why I suggest when you're displaying multiple ones of these, you at least elevate 1 or 2 of them. Now in regards to lighting options, the nacelles light up just like on the USS Vengeance. And additionally, if you're trying to find one of these to purchase right now, you can usually find one similarly to the Vengeance for about $100 to $150 on eBay. I do have to say that when it comes to these Creo sets, I'm not a fan of the styling of pretty much any of them besides the Klingon ships. And especially when it comes to the Enterprises, there's just not enough saucer section and too much nacelle. We're now going to conclude with the final set in the series, the Klingon Starfleet Attack, consisting of 717 pieces. It also includes 2 different ships that you can use to wage battle on each other. Now the figures included in this one are Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Sulu, Chekhov, and 3 Klingons. Now in order to display these, just like with the other Enterprises, you're going to have to build some kind of stand for it if you want to elevate it. In regards to the Klingon ship, you can use some plates on their sides, like I'm showing here, in order to put the Klingon warbird at an angle and give excellent viewing for the lighting of the photon bay underneath the front of the ship. Now just like with our previous USS Enterprise, this one's nacelles also light up, and this particular set comes with a whole bunch of stickers that you can add to the Enterprise in order to give it a bunch of battle damage to make it look entirely different from the other Enterprise that you may have from your USS Enterprise set. That's going to be it for all of the Creo sets in the Creo series. It definitely is not as refined or look as nice as the Mega Bloks versions, but I did want to show a complete picture of all of the brick sets that have been released for Star Trek. Now what I want to talk about briefly is just the sets that are slated to come out in early 2022 by an entirely new brick manufacturer that goes by the name of Blue Bricks, that is going to be producing a variety of sets in early 2022. Let's quickly go over what the prototypes for these sets look like. The first ship is the USS Enterprise 1701A. That is 2,884 pieces, so very similar to the one that I showed you earlier in this video. Now the one that I'm really excited about is the USS Enterprise 1701D, which is 1,953 pieces and is a great version from Next Generation. Now we're going to move from the large ships down to the mid-size. We'll start with the Borg Cube. At 776 pieces, it's definitely the most unique ship we have had thus far in the Star Wars brick collection. Next is a USS Enterprise 1701A at 490 pieces, followed by a 1701D at 476 pieces. So these similarly look to be mid-size versions of the large-size ones we spoke of a minute ago. Next, we have a Class F shuttlecraft, which will be very neat. And the last of the mid-size ships is the 584-piece Type 6 shuttlecraft. Next, let's talk about the mini starships and actually stations as well. So first, we have the Borg Cube at 360 pieces, followed by Deep Space Nine, which is a neat representation using only 198 pieces. We then have a Klingon Bird of Prey at 214 pieces, a USS Enterprise NCC1701 at 104 pieces, a 1701D at 185 pieces, finally a USS Voyager NCC74656 with 174 pieces. I really wish we would have gotten a mid-size or even a large ship of this Voyager. Hopefully that's sometime in the future. The last thing I'll show you is they're also releasing some equipment, starting with a communicator at 201 pieces, a Klingon Diktag at 286 pieces, a Type 2 phaser from the original series, that's going to be 371 pieces, then lastly a Type 2 phaser from the Next Generation, consisting of 233 pieces. I really can't wait for all these new additions to the Star Trek brick universe to come out. That's going to be it for the Star Trek display options video. I hope you found that informative. Look for more of these theme-based videos from me in the future. In fact, other than the mocks that I have a collection of over 1 million Legos and 1,500 Lego sets, most of them specific to themes. Therefore, I'm going to be having lots of videos such as this, going over all of the particular sets in a theme and showing how they can be put together for some excellent display opportunities. If this is of interest to you, please make sure you subscribe right down there in the comments and leave a like to make sure that I know that this content is being appreciated. Thanks so much, everyone. Stay safe and stay healthy out there.